Welcome to this ultimate free course where I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to build a profitable digital product business even if you're a complete beginner. I can guarantee if you watch this video from start to finish, you'll know the exact steps to not only build your own digital products, but to also make tens of thousands of dollars with them. In this free course, we're going to be covering everything from how to find a winning product idea, all the way to the exact marketing secrets I've personally used to make over 6 figures selling my own digital products. And honestly, people charge thousands of dollars for the information that I'm going to share with you inside of this free course. So my only ask is for you to follow along and actually use the information you learn. So the product blueprint that we're going to follow consists of first finding our winning product idea, then validating this idea by making sales before we even finish creating our product. From there, we're going to refine it, and then finally we're going to set up our digital product so that we can make sales on autopilot and make money while we sleep. And it's important to follow these 4 steps in order because a common mistake many beginners make is spending months building a digital product before validating the idea. And making this mistake puts you at risk of building something that no one actually wants, which means when you go to launch your product, it's gonna flop. And I've seen this time and time again, and this leads to people thinking this business model is a scam or it doesn't work, but in reality, they just didn't follow the blueprint. So with that quick disclaimer out of the way, let's quickly break down what a digital product actually is. And I'm also going to cover some examples of digital products that you can start selling. So firstly, digital products are digital assets that people can access and download online. And some examples of this are online courses, ebooks, PDF guides, memberships, templates, checklists, digital art, and etc. So digital products have completely changed the game for creators, and they've made it easier than ever to share your ideas, impact others, and earn a lot of money along the way. On top of that, some of my favorite reasons for selling digital products are firstly, you can sell them to anyone in the world without having to deal with shipping issues. So since digital products can be downloaded from the internet or accessed through a link, your customers can instantly enjoy your product from anywhere at any time. Secondly, digital products are scalable. And this is possible because you can create a product one time and you can sell it as many times as you want without any extra effort or production costs. Thirdly, digital products are flexible and can be easily updated at any time. Because unlike physical products where you have to go through an entire remanufacturing process to make even the smallest change to your product, digital products let you tweak things whenever you want, which then makes it a lot easier to implement your customers' feedback. But what I love the most about digital products is that there are barely any overheads. Because since you don't have to worry about stock, shipping, or logistics, you can keep your costs low, which means your profits stay high. Digital products are my favorite way to monetize my content, and I believe every creator should sell a digital product. But that brings us to the question of what digital product should you sell? And the first thing I want to mention here is that there is no perfect product. Because depending on your target customer, your audience size, your skills, and your experience, the product you create will differ. With that said, since this is a beginner-friendly course, I'm going to cover the frameworks I'd follow to create my very first digital product. So in my opinion, the best first digital product to create is either something that you already use to do your work or a solution to a problem that you've already solved for yourself. So for example, my first ever digital product that I sold was Adobe Lightroom presets. And basically these were one-click filters that you could add to your photos to make them look like mine. And at the time, I was a freelance photographer and I found myself spending hours and hours editing photos for clients. So I decided to spend a weekend to create these presets to not only help me edit photos faster, but to also help me create a consistent style throughout my photos. And the more photos I shared on my Instagram with these presets, the more questions came in from people asking how I was editing my photos. So this is when the idea to package up my presets into a digital product came into my mind. So as you can see, I struggled with a specific problem. I then solved it by creating a specific workflow. And once other people asked how I was doing it, I then packaged my workflow into a product to sell. And this is so important to highlight because no matter what type of digital product you create, it should be a solution to a specific problem your target customer is struggling with. So for my preset pack, the problems I was solving was spending less time editing and getting a professional looking photo without needing to know how to edit. And for my target audience, I knew that they would pay $27 for my presets to solve this problem. And I've followed this simple framework for many of my digital products, and it works every single time. Because if my product can solve a problem that I'm facing, then I'm confident there are other people in the world who are also struggling with that same problem. So I want you to zoom out and look at the tools and workflows or templates that you're already using to streamline your daily workflow. So for example, are you using a specific budgeting spreadsheet to organize your finances? Or are you using a specific filter to edit your videos? Are you using a specific habit tracker to stay on top of your diet? Or is there something that you're using or doing to simplify your workflow or to save you time? And now you might be thinking, oh, that's great, but I don't have any skills and I don't use anything to do my work. What should I do? And well, you can learn a skill and build a product around that in a very short time. So an example of this is my consistent creator system, which is one of my newer digital products that has already generated over $40,000 in just a few months. And basically how this product was born was by again solving a specific problem I was facing myself. So like many creators, I struggled to keep my content ideas and scripts organized. I had everything scattered across Google Docs, Apple Notes, and other random apps. And this resulted in a bunch of wasted time, missing ideas and scripts, and basically a nightmare workflow. Honestly, it was a mess and I felt like I would never be able to create content consistently. So knowing I needed a better system to create my content, I saw a lot of creators online talking about a new software called Notion to stay organized with their content. So I dedicated a few hours on a weekend to learn how to use Notion. And I did this by taking a Skillshare course by Ali Abdal. And in just a few hours, I learned how to organize my content and my life inside of this powerful software. From there, the Consistent Creator System was born, which is an all-in-one solution to plan, script, and organize all of your content. This template was the solution I needed to streamline my content workflow and to start creating content consistently. It had sections to organize content ideas, script templates, creator resources, goal trackers, a content calendar, and so much more. That said, I never intended to sell the template, but after going viral multiple times on Instagram, friends of mine began asking how I was managing all of my content. So I shared the template with them and I started receiving great feedback. And that's when I realized that this template could help other content creators too, and the rest is history. So if we really zoom out and look at the journey I followed to create this digital product, I spent 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon watching a Skillshare course about Notion. With those 4 hours, I not only solved the problem I was struggling with, but I also created a product that has gone on to generate over $40,000. So I don't want to hear no excuses about how digital products won't work for you. Alright, so now let's talk about how to actually validate the idea of your digital product. Because like I mentioned at the start of this course, it's so important to make sure people actually want your product before you completely build it out. And when I look back on my career, one of the biggest risks I've taken when it comes to monetizing online was when I sold my first ever photography course, which was the fast tracked photography. So it was 2020 and the peak of the pandemic when 90% of my photography client work vanished overnight due to lockdown restrictions. So with all this free time available, I decided to build a photography course that I could sell online. Looking back, I had no idea what I was doing because I thought I needed to have a perfectly finished course before I could start promoting it online. So this led to me locking myself away in my small Tokyo apartment for over 6 months and working on building the ultimate photography course. So 6 to 7 months later, I took it to market, and since I had barely any followers back then and no email lists, I was forced to rely on paid YouTube ads to sell my course. Honestly, it was a shit show. I had no idea what the I was doing, but luckily I was able to work the paid ads to make some sales. But looking back, this whole strategy was a massive mistake, and honestly, it's a miracle that I was able to make some money. Because I've heard so many stories of people doing a similar thing, but then struggling to even sell one copy of their digital product. And this failure leads them to feeling discouraged and never wanting to try again. So looking back, what I should have done is built only 20% of the course, and while I was doing that, I should have been sharing content online, documenting my journey of creating it. On top of that, I should have also started an email waiting list to build hype for the product. That way, when I did launch, I would have had a group of hot leads that I could sell to. And then from there, once a few copies of the course had been sold at a discounted price, I could then build out the rest of the course with actual students who could guide me on exactly what I should include in the course curriculum. This sell before you build approach is the best and stress-free way to not only build your products, but to also validate them. I do this with everything now, and I even did it with my free email course, Creator Economics. So basically, this is a free 21-day email course where every day for 21 days, you'll receive one actionable tip to start and scale your creator business. And I started promoting this course online when I only had the first 7 emails fully written. Because in my mind, there's no point writing out the rest of the emails if I can't get anyone to actually sign up for it. That said, if you want free access to the 21-day email course, I've left a link in the description below for you to check out. And this sell it before you build approach isn't just a strategy small creators use, because major brands like Tesla use it for all of their new car launches. Also, my friend Ben used it to launch his Views from Japan photo book, which generated over $100,000 in sale before production even began. So please do not make the same mistake I made of locking yourself away and building something until it's perfect. And instead, build a minimum viable product, which is basically 20 to 40% of your product. And while you're doing that, document the journey of you building it on social media. So this content could be behind the scenes videos of you working on the product, and it could also be educational content showing it in action. From there, all of this content should be driving traffic to an email waitlist. And later in this course, I'm going to show you how to set one up, but for the time being, just remember to add CTAs in your content, driving people to join the waitlist. And then finally, start selling your product. And personally, I like to do this at a discounted rate since the product isn't fully built out yet. And then once you've gotten a few customers in the door, you can use their feedback and profits to build out the rest of your product. That said, if you're following my advice that I mentioned earlier of selling a product that you're already using to solve a problem that you're struggling with, then there's a high chance that majority of the product is already built out. So in your case, your main goal should be to get it out to the market as quickly as possible, which again, you're going to learn exactly how to do later in this training. But for the time being, a quote I want you to remember from Reid Hoffman, who is the co-founder of LinkedIn, is if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. Alright, so now that you've figured out what product you want to sell, you now want to organize and adjust it so it can be used by your target audience. So basically here you want to make sure it's not so customized to your workflow that no one else can use it. So for example, with my consistent creator system, when I was only using it, this content pipeline, which is the main area where people can plan, script, and organize their content, originally only catered to Instagram and YouTube because these were the only platforms I was actively creating content on. But I knew if I wanted all creators to be able to use this template, I needed to add all the different platforms and extra tagging systems to help keep everything more organized. And this is exactly what I did before I ever sold a copy of the template. So depending on your product, this will differ for you, but the main thing is to make it accessible and as easy to use for your target customer. And an example of where I did this wrong in the past was when I created an Instagram carousel pack. So this digital product consisted of a bunch of professional carousel templates that anyone can use for their content. And it was a product that I validated ahead of time, and I knew it was something that my target audience wanted. But the mistake I made was making the templates exclusive to Adobe Photoshop. By doing this, I cut out all the potential customers who didn't know how to use Photoshop or that didn't want to pay for an Adobe subscription. And this one mistake led to a bunch of refunds, and honestly, it was a nightmare. So for version 2 of this product, I duplicated all of the carousel templates into Canva, which is a popular free software that everybody has access to. So that's why I personally love getting a small group of beta users to test my products before I launch. And this one strategy helps me refine my product, and it ensures it meets my target customers' needs. And how I go about this is by DMing other creators and asking them if they'd be interested in testing out my product. And if you don't have any friends who can help you out with this, you could create an Instagram story inside of Canva, prompting the next 5 to 10 people to get free access to your product. Getting actual strangers from your audience to test your product will lead to some of the most honest feedback. Another way you can get some beta users is by joining online communities that are related to your niche or product and asking people in there if they'd be interested to test it out. I personally did this inside of a paid community and got a bunch of strangers who fit my target audience to test out my product. Whatever you have to do, just get your first version of your product in the hands of your target customers so that you can get real-time feedback. And a pro tip I like to do here is to create a simple form that people need to fill out to get access to the product. This form would consist of a bunch of questions to better learn my target customers' wants and needs. So for example, this form would include questions like, what are their biggest struggles? What is their financial situation? And what is their dream state in the next 6 to 12 months? And learning these answers will help you better understand your target customer, which will then help you craft your product messaging and make you more sales when you launch. And if all of that sounds confusing, don't worry, because we're going to be diving a lot deeper into all of this later in the course. But I personally use a software called Course Creator 360 to create my forms, but there are a bunch of different softwares you can use like WriteMessage, Typeform, or even just a simple Google Doc. But now, after you made the necessary changes that'll make your product more usable, you'll also want to add clear instructions on how to use it and get the most out of your product. And personally, I like to do this with a mix of pre-recorded videos and step-by-step guides. And I use Loom to easily record my screen while having my head in the corner, and I use Gamma.app for my step-by-step guides. Whatever way you decide, the main goal here is to walk your customers through your product and show them how to get the most out of it. Okay, so now that we've gotten some beta users to test our product, after about a week, we should now be collecting their feedback. And to do this, you can send emails or hop on Zoom calls with your customers to ask about their experience with the product. Find out what they love the most and how you can improve it. And if you hear the same feedback consistently, that's a sign to either improve that part of the product or to double down on it. And an example of this is when I was jumping on Zoom calls with my first initial customers for my consistent creator system. So on these calls, I started to notice that a lot of the creators who were purchasing the template were running newsletters. And they would constantly ask how they could add a newsletter pipeline to the main content pipeline within the template. So after noticing this common problem, I decided to add a newsletter pipeline to the template, and I also created a newsletter scripting template to make it easier for my customers to plan and script their emails. And after you made these immediate changes, you can now focus on taking your product to the next level. That said, this next step is optional, but I do recommend over-delivering to your customers by adding bonus content, resources, or trainings that complement your product. So for example, the main goal of the Consistent Creator System is to help creators stay consistent with their content. So after getting my first initial sales, I began adding bonus training videos to help my customers create content consistently. So some of the bonus videos I included were how to script viral videos fast, how to batch record content like a pro, how to outsource your video editing, and etc. I also included exclusive resources like video scripting templates, AI prompts to create content faster, and my key gear and software recommendations to create content consistently. And I personally believe that adding these extra bonuses for free help you build a stronger brand and ensures you over-deliver for your customers. And this is probably why I've been able to collect over 250 positive testimonials for the Consistent Creator System. So once you've validated your idea and gotten some sales through the door, have a think about the different trainings or resources that you could add to your product to better help your customers achieve their desired results even faster and easier. Alright, so firstly, congratulations, because a lot of people don't even make it to this part of the process. But now let's get started on setting up your product for sale. So by this point, you should have identified your digital product, validated the idea, built an MVP of it, gotten some beta users to test it out, and also used their feedback to refine and improve your product. So in this next section, the main things we're going to be covering are how to find a platform to host your product, how to handle payments, and how to deliver it to customers. So firstly, there are so many different platforms out there to sell our digital products. But to make this as easy as possible for you, here's a quick breakdown of the 2 platforms I recommend for creators at different stages. So firstly, Gumroad, the best for beginners. So firstly, if you're a complete beginner and have zero budget to invest, then Gumroad is hands down the easiest way to start selling digital products. So some of the pros of Gumroad is that it's free to use, it's beginner friendly, meaning you can set up a product in minutes, and it handles all payments and delivery of your product. The cons though is that it has higher fees. So Gumroad takes 10% of all of your sales, plus it has additional credit card fees. It also doesn't give you much options when it comes to branding, so your store will look pretty basic and it's going to look the same to every other creator selling on Gumroad. That said, for most beginners, the higher fees and limited branding options won't really matter until you're making at least $5,000 per month with your digital product. I know many creators who first started selling their products on Gumroad, and once they started making consistent sales, they switched to another platform. platform. And that's when option 2 comes into play, which is Kajabi. And Kajabi is my go-to platform for people who are serious about building a creative business. And the reason for this is that it's an all-in-one platform, which means it has everything you need to create and sell your digital products. So on top of being able to upload your products, Kajabi also includes things like email marketing, landing pages, communities, product hosting, payment processing, and so much more. Kajabi also has customizable branding, allowing you to make your products and landing pages fit your branding style. Another great thing about Kajabi is that it scales with you because Kajabi never takes a cut of your sales. So it doesn't matter if you're making $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month. You just pay the same flat rate for your subscription. Another pro about Kajabi is that I have an extended free trial link that gives you 30 days free instead of the usual 14 days on their website. And I've left a link to the extended free trial below if you're interested in checking it out. That said, some of the cons of Kajabi are firstly, unlike Gumroad, which is free, Kajabi does have a monthly subscription. Also, since there are more features available, there is a slight learning curve to properly use it all. But if you're serious about building a long-term digital product business, then Kajabi is definitely for you. That said, whatever platform you choose, don't overthink it. Just pick one and start building out your product after this video. You can always switch platforms later, but what matters most now is just starting. So your action item after watching this is to sign up for a platform and start setting up your first digital product. Alright, now let's talk about pricing your digital product. And this is another roadblock that stops so many people from launching and selling digital products. And something I've realized after speaking with many creators is that they either undervalue their product and barely break even, or they overthink their pricing and never launch at all. So let's fix that with a simple framework that I use to confidently price all of my digital products. So firstly, focus on value, not cost. So firstly, when deciding on a price, focus on the value your product delivers, not just the cost of creating it. So for example, my consistent creator system doesn't cost much to make or sell, but it saves people hours of work every single week. That time my product is saving is worth hundreds of dollars. So a rule of thumb I follow is the 10x rule. And the 10x rule basically means your product should provide at least 10x the value of its price. So for example, right now, the consistent creator system costs $47, but it can save someone a minimum of 50 hours in a year. So let's say that person earns $10 an hour. That's $500 worth of time saved. So for me, I'm confident in charging $47 for my product because it's delivering over 10x the value. And something to remember is that this value doesn't just have to be about money. Saving people time, helping them gain confidence, making things more easier or convenient, or even teaching someone a new skill is also extremely valuable and can be charged a premium for. And another thing to mention is that you can always raise your prices in the future. So don't let the fear of picking the wrong price stop you from putting something out there. Just start with a number that feels right, test it, and then raise it as your product improves. This is exactly what I did with my consistent creator system. I first launched it at $27 because I wanted to get my first round of customers in the door to get more feedback and testimonials. After implementing the feedback and updates, I raised it to $37, then later I increased it to $41, and now it's priced at $47. And guess what? I've been adding even more updates over the past few weeks, so this $47 price will go up again soon. So don't let overthinking hold you back. Just pick a price, focus on delivering value, gather feedback, improve your product, and keep increasing your price over time. That said, there are many different strategies when it comes to pricing depending on your product, and we're only really scratching the surface in this course. So if you need more one-to-one help from me, consider joining my creator community. Inside of this community, you'll get instant access to multiple courses teaching you how to build your online audience, how to build and sell digital products, and so much more. You'll also get access to live Q&A sessions with me and a supportive community of creators who understand your journey and are just as committed to growth as you are. Honestly, there's too much to mention here, so if you're interested, you can click the link in the description to find out more about it. Alright, so now that our product is set up and we've decided on the price, it's time to create a sales page. And this is where people can see all the value your product offers and actually make their purchase. And when done correctly, you'll basically have a salesperson working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, selling your products for you. And honestly, there's no better feeling than waking up to new sales that your sales page brought in overnight. So when it comes to creating a sales page, I always use a simple framework called AIDA, which stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And these are the 4 stages someone has to go through to become a customer. And by structuring your sales pages in this way, you can guide them smoothly to your checkout. That said, it's much easier to understand this AIDA framework when you see it in action. So let's quickly break down my consistent creator system sales page, which has made me over $40,000. So if we check out the sales page for the consistent creator template, we're going to see that at the top, it's all about grabbing the attention of my prospect. And the most important part here is this headline. And I've tried so many different variations of this headline, but currently this one is working the best. And when it comes to writing your headlines, the key is to make it emotive and easy to understand. You also want to clearly explain what your product is about and the benefits they're going to receive from using it. So for example, for this headline, it says your all-in-one solution to turn ideas into viral content consistently. So firstly, your all-in-one solution makes my product sound like it's easy to use and that it's all in one location, which means you won't need to mess around with other apps or other products. I also chose to use the word your here because the copywriting hack is to use words like you and your so that your prospect can imagine themselves using your product. And even though you might think it's small and subtle, this technique is a powerful copywriting principle. The next part, which is turning ideas into viral content consistently, speaks directly to what my target audience is trying to achieve. And I know this because I've spoken to hundreds of content creators and their goal is to create viral content consistently. And just remember that the headline of your sales page is arguably the most important part and it can make or break your conversions. I personally spend more time thinking about what headline to use than I spend creating all the other copy on the sales page. It's that important. So really think about what value or transformation you're providing with your offer, and then spend the necessary time to craft an enticing headline for your sales page. But now under the headline, I have a short description that doubles down on the benefits my customer will receive when they purchase the product. So say goodbye to scattered ideas and blank screens and say hello to proven templates and a consistent content strategy. And I chose this specific language because again, after speaking to many content creators, a common problem they struggled with was having content ideas and scripts scattered across a bunch of different apps and softwares. I also know that a common problem that stops creators from creating content consistently is staring at a blank screen and not knowing where to even start. So I first relate to their problems and then I provide a solution in the second part here. Next, I also have a video sales letter which basically goes through everything on the sales page and also runs them through a demo of the template. And this video is great for people who don't want to read and want to visually see and hear about the product. And I'm not going to go through the entire video here, but I have left a link to the sales page under this video, so definitely check it out after this training. Now with that said, those 3 elements of a sales video, headline, and subtext are the 3 key parts of grabbing the attention of my audience. But here we can see there are a bunch of different elements and these are the above the fold must-haves. And basically the above the fold section on your website is the area that people see straight away when they land on your website without having to scroll down. And this above the fold section should always consist of 5 elements. So firstly, a strong photo or video showcasing your product, a headline, 1 clear call to action, social proof, and trust seals. These 5 elements should be visible above the fold for both desktop and mobile viewing. So for this sales page, we can see I have all 5 elements. So for the call to action, I have this big green button, and instead of it saying something generic like buy now or add to cart, I went with something more emotive like start creating consistently. And if people click this button, they'll be taken to the next step in my sales funnel, which is a checkout page. For the social proof, I added this testimonial here that says rated 4.9 out of 5 by hundreds of happy creators. And next to that, I have these Trustpilot review stars. And the funny thing here is that the real rating of my product is 5 out of 5, but I decided to actually make it slightly worse at 4.9 stars. And I did this because it's believed that having a slightly lower product rating is more believable and converts higher than a 5 out of 5. People these days will see 5 out of 5 and think it's fake. So that's a little conversion rate hack that I use on all of my sales pages. But now lastly is the trust seals. So for my sales page, I added these card payment seals under every call to action. And these help build trust with your prospects because by seeing these well-known brands, they'll feel safer making a purchase from your site. And even if we look at the mobile version of my sales page, you'll see all of these 5 elements are above the fold. But now, I know that was a lot of information there, but I really wanted to break down this section of the sales page because honestly, the above the fold section is the most important part of your sales pages. And if you mess this up, then it won't matter how well crafted the rest of the page is. No one is going to see it. It's believed that you have less than 5 seconds to keep someone on your website, and all of those seconds will be determined above the fold. So it is crucial to get this right. But now let's move down. So in this section, I'm still holding their attention and starting to slowly pique their interest. And basically here, I'm asking a bunch of questions that are related to common problems content creators have. By asking these questions, I'm relating to my prospects' pain points, and in their minds, I'm positioning myself as a solution to these problems. From there, I move into the interest section of the sales page. So it's here where I introduce the solution, which is the consistent creator template. And here I have a graphic of the template that I created. And here you can see that it's accessible on all devices, which is a key selling point of the product. From here, I then break down the 3 steps to using and purchasing the product. So firstly, download the template, then learn how to use and customize it, and then start creating content consistently. From there, I double down and highlight the benefits they will receive by purchasing the product. So I've done this with headlines like content mastery and optimized workflows. And throughout this entire sales page, you will see that my call to actions are always the same. They are green, they have the same text, and they have trust seals or social proof directly under them. And by keeping your call to actions consistent like this, will make it easier for your prospects to know exactly how to make a purchase at any time while scrolling through your sales page. But now under that, I then twist the knife on the benefits they will receive. And I really try to make my prospects imagine how much easier and enjoyable it would be to create content if they could instantly solve all of these common problems. Now under that is where we move into the desire section of the sales page. So firstly, there is a call to action for anyone who is ready to make a purchase now. But if not, they'll see a bunch of positive reviews from other creators who are also using the template. And I use a software called Senja to collect and display these templates, and it's personally my favorite software to use for testimonials. But continuing on, I now focus on the features of the product and what exactly you'll get when you make a purchase. And a key thing I want to mention here is that even though I'm talking about the features, I always try to position the feature in a benefit-driven way. Because a common mistake beginner marketers make is focusing on the features of a product, when the reality is your customers don't care about the features, because that's not why they are buying your product. Your customers are buying the transformation or feeling your product brings. So for example, most people aren't buying Louis Vuitton bags because they care about the leather and quality. They are buying it because of the status and feeling they get when wearing it. So even though it is important to highlight the features of your product, you always want to spin it in a way that communicates the benefits this specific feature brings. So for example, for the brand mission and vision guide, this first paragraph is focused on the feature, which is the brand vision template. But then in this second part, I talk about the benefit of using this template. So get clarity on your brand mission, values, and unique selling proposition to help you stand out from the crowd and to elevate your social media game. But now moving down, and we are now entering the action section of the sales page. So firstly, I address who this template is for, and then I double down on some of the common pain points and problems my target audience are facing. From there, I have a hard call to action that lists out everything my customers will receive. And under that, I have some more testimonials from customers, and then I have a frequently asked questions area. And the goal of this frequently asked questions section is to address any objections or questions that your prospect may have. Because unlike a sales call where you can address these concerns live on the call, with an evergreen product like this, you want to do as much as you can on your sales page to not lose the sale. And how I came up with these questions was firstly rounding up feedback from my past customers, and then also pitching the consistent creator template to my friends and family and listing out the questions they had about the product. And then finally, I have one last call to action for my prospects to purchase the template. So that's a breakdown of the sales page and the key things I made sure I added to increase my conversion rates. Alright, so if you followed all the steps in this course, your digital product should be ready to go. Now it's time to focus on selling it, and that's where marketing comes into play. And honestly, marketing and sales is something that I've never been naturally good at. I've never had a sales job, and I used to be terrified to pitch my products and services. But after being in this game for 6 years now, I've been able to develop the necessary skills to make over 6 figures selling digital products. So before we dive into the exact strategies, I want you to know that if you feel like you suck at marketing and sales now, Don't worry, because like anything, these are skills that can be learned and developed over time. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's first cover the different ways you can sell your product online. So firstly, we have paid advertising. So this is where you pay to get your content in front of people. So this is things like Facebook and Google ads. Next, we have organic advertising, which is where you create free content online to attract your ideal customers. And then we also have affiliate advertising. And this is where other people promote your products for you, and in return you give them a small commission for each sale they bring in. And I've personally used all of these methods to sell my digital products, and they all do work. That said, I've had the most success with organic marketing, so in this section of the course, this is the method that we're going to focus on. So the first step to successful organic marketing is choosing the right social media platform to build your brand and to create content on. So for me, Instagram and YouTube have always been my platforms of choice because not only do I prefer creating more visual content, but I know my target audience are using these platforms. That said, if you don't want to show your face as much, and if you're selling something more B2B, LinkedIn or X might be better platforms for you to focus on. So just keep in mind that there's no perfect platform to sell your digital products or even to build your audience. And instead, it comes down to what you're selling and who you're selling to. That said, regardless of the social platform you're building on, one common mistake creators make is trying to sell their products directly on social media. And I know that might sound weird because social media is probably where you have the most attention and reach, but what many people forget is how people actually use these apps. So really think about it. When you're scrolling Instagram or TikTok, you're probably killing time at work, chilling on the couch, or waiting in line at the grocery store. So when you're trying to sell directly on social media, it's basically like walking up to a stranger at a bar and asking if they want to come home with you straight away. And sure, you might get lucky every now and then, but wouldn't your chances be a lot higher if instead you started a conversation, got their number, and then went on a date first? And well, in the creator world, we can replicate this process by first creating valuable content to attract our ideal customers. Then instead of going straight for the sale on social media, we ask for their email. And then via emails, we send them even more value to their inbox. And then over time, we can sprinkle in sales pitches to purchase our products. So when we break it down, our main goal on social media is to grab attention, and then we want to send that attention somewhere more personal, aka your email list. And I know many people think emails are dead, but the truth is they just don't know how to use them properly, because email has consistently proven to be the best way to make predictable sales for your digital products and to take ownership and control over your audience. Because unlike social media followers, your email subscribers are yours. And I know creators with hundreds of thousands of followers but no email list. And something these creators don't realize is that the audience you have on social media is borrowed. And if there was a worldwide ban on social media, or if their accounts were to get hacked, their entire businesses would vanish. On top of that, these social platforms use algorithms to control what your audience sees and doesn't see. So no matter what you do, you have no control over how you communicate with your audience. But with email, there is no social media algorithm deciding who gets to see your content. You can contact your audience directly at any time, and emails give you ownership over your audience. Your email list is the foundation of your business, and not only does it provide a safety net, but it also creates a powerful sales channel for your business. That said, there are so many different email marketing platforms out there, but my top 3 are Kajabi, ConvertKit, and Klaviyo. And ConvertKit and Klaviyo are dedicated email marketing platforms with flexible pricing plans. But with that said, I prefer an all-in-one platform like Kajabi that has email marketing as just one of its features. Because like I've mentioned throughout this course, when it comes to tech, I like simplicity. Having everything I need to run my creative business in one place saves me a lot of time and a lot of headaches. That said, no matter which platform you choose, I want you to pause this video and go set up an email list. And in the next section of this course, I'm going to share with you how to not only build your email list, but how to also make sales for your digital products with it. Alright, so now that we have our email list set up, let's now cover how to actually use it to make sales for our digital products. So firstly, we're going to create targeted content on social media to generate attention. From there, we're going to direct this attention to a mass promotion. And then finally, we're going to sell our products through our mass promotion. Now, you might be thinking, what the is a mass promotion? And basically, it's a sales pitch disguised as value. So some examples of a mass promotion could be a free workshop, a free course, a free template, a free trial, and etc. No matter what type of mass promotion you offer, people will need to enter their email to get access to it. So for example, a mass promotion I used to sell my consistent creator system was my free content command center. So basically this was a more basic version of my consistent creator system, and I would give a copy of this template in exchange for someone's email. And the goal of this free template was to help people start creating content online, and then hopefully over time they would want to scale their content, which will then lead them to purchasing my main consistent creator system. Inside of the content command center, I also added a link to my consistent creator system so that anyone who was using this could easily purchase it at any time. Also, since you're capturing people's emails to get access to your mass promotions, you can create automated email sequences which help sell your products on autopilot. So for example, this is what would happen after someone gave me their email for the free content command center. So firstly, they'd get access to the free template via email. From there, for the next 3 days, they would receive valuable tips on how to create high quality content while also softly being pitched on my consistent creator system. From days 4 to 6, I would send more sales focused emails, pitching them on my products, and even offering them a slight discount on my consistent creator system. So hopefully you can see why these mass promotions are so much more powerful than asking someone for a sale directly on your Instagram. Mass promotions help warm people up by first providing them with some value and then also solving a small problem for them. From there, when you pitch them the solution to the next problem that they're facing, aka your product, they'll be way more confident in their purchase. That said, one of the best mass promotions that's helped me generate tens of thousands of dollars for my digital product is the free email course. And basically, this is where you create an automated email sequence where for a certain amount of days, you provide a daily actionable tip. So for example, when you sign up to my Creator Economics email course, you'll receive a daily tip for 21 days, teaching you how to start and build your creator business. And this type of mass promotion works so well because you're sharing value through daily emails. So these daily emails not only saves your target customer from having to search for this information themselves, but it also trains them to open your emails, which then helps when you want to promote your products later. And if you want to check out my 21-day Creator Economics course for free, you can sign up with the top link in the description below. So now with all the pieces of the pie ready, the only thing left to do now is to drive traffic to your mass promotions and your sales page. And how you do this is by creating consistent content on your social accounts. Ideally, you want to be posting at least one post per day. And inside of my 21-day free email course, I dive a lot deeper into the actual type of content you should create to not only build your email list, but to also make sales for your digital product. So again, you can click the top link in the description below to get complete access to that. But with that said, what's worked best for me and my students is creating educational content online that is related to my digital product. So for example, for my consistent creator system, I've created a lot of free content online teaching people how to create content consistently. And then with these pieces of content, I'll either pitch them directly to purchase my template, or I'll invite them to download my mass promotion, which was the content command center that we've already talked about in this course. That said, another thing you want to ensure you're always doing is collecting testimonials from your customers. This is important because not only will you be able to continuously improve your product, but you can also use these testimonials on your sales pages and in your content to make more sales. And I personally use a software called Senja to collect my testimonials, and in my opinion, I think it's the best tool out there. But with that said, if you don't want to spend any money on another software, you can just use Trustpilot. And just like that, if you actually implement what we've covered in this course, you'll not only have your very first digital product ready for sale, but you should have already started making sales. That said, in this course, we've only scratched the surface of building a profitable creator business. And if you want to learn more directly from me, I'd love to invite you to join my creator community. You'll get instant access to exclusive courses that teach you how to grow your online audience, create and sell digital products, and so much more. You'll also get exclusive access to templates and resources designed to kickstart your creator business so that you can launch in days, not months. You'll also get access to live Q&A sessions with me and a supportive community of creators who are on the same journey as you and that are all working together to reach their goals. Honestly, there's too much to mention here, so if you're interested, you can click the link in the description below to find out more about this creator community. But with that being said, thank you for watching this free course and good luck. I'm rooting for you.